So this is what your forms project should look like when you're done. First of all, we're going to add some form elements, and these are validated so that, for example, if I click away, then it's going to prompt me to enter something. And so if I put in a password, I see dots. Email address, if I don't put in an email address, it's going to pop up with a little note. So let me go ahead and make that a valid email address. Notice that when I do that, then it gives me the green. Phone number. So I'm going to go ahead and just put in. I'm just typing in a bunch of 4s, and notice that this Dreamweaver Spry it goes ahead and formats it for me, which is kind of cool. Then we have a checkbox. We have radio buttons, and this is a group, so they work together. And then we have a menu. Now the submit doesn't do anything, and that's fine. I just want you to experiment with the form fields and with validation. Now HTML5 controls, these are some nifty new controls in HTML5, and we're looking at this in Google Chrome because they don't work in Firefox. They do work in Opera. I didn't try them in Internet Explorer. So here's the color control, and so I can go ahead and choose a color, and then when I click OK, it shows that color. For a date, when I click on the arrow, it pulls up a calendar, which is super cool because before this HTML5 control, you'd have to do some JavaScript to make something like that work. I'm going to go ahead and just type in an email address. Month also brings up a calendar, but what it spits back is just the month and the year. This control lets you specify a maximum and a minimum, and then you use these little arrows to choose your number. Range gives you a slider. Phone, I'm not quite sure what this one does. I mean, I think it does something with phones, so you can experiment with that on your phone. Let's see what happens if I don't put in a correct phone number. Let me finish these others first, though. Okay, so for time, I'm going to specify a time using these little arrows. And then finally for URL, it does want you to have a full URL beginning with HTTP. I'm going to go ahead and hit submit, and it didn't notice that I didn't have a valid phone number, so I did get a color, I got a nice date, and so this form confirmation is spitting back the values using PHP. Now you don't have to do that for your project. If you want to, you could just have this message, thank you for submitting the form, but it's pretty easy to write the code to spit back the values that were entered into the form. Maybe somebody will post that to the discussion, somebody who's taken the PHP class. Okay, so let's look at search. This first search box that I did, this is using a website called Atomz, A-T-O-M-Z, and so I've given you a little movie to show you how to do that. So here's how that would work. So if I do a search for gallery, then it gives me these results. Now this other search that I did, this is a Google search using an HTML5 control, and so let's see, the type for the input type is search, and then you just have to put in some hidden variables, and then for your form action it's going to be www.google.com/search. So this is a super easy way to do a search, but you don't have a lot of control over it, over how it looks or anything like that. So here's how it looks. It's not too bad, but I do have more control when I use Atomz. I can customize my search results. Now you can there are other ways to do a Google search. So if you want to experiment with that, you can. There's a link in the instructions that talks about different ways to do searches. So you can choose any way that you'd like. Well, anyway, that's kind of what I'm looking for. I want some external style sheets. I want you to make sure that you have persistent navigation, and I want you to use HTML5, or else these controls aren't going to work.